From TE Connectivity, this is Maker to Maker, conversations between engineers about engineering and the beautifully messy process that is design. I'm your host, Brooke Glassman, and today I'm talking with mechanical engineer intern and recipient of TE Connectivity's African Heritage Scholarship Program, Eric Scandrett. Welcome, Eric.
Hello, how are you all doing today?
Happy to have you. So why don't we start with a little bit of an introduction of you and tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, hello, my name is Eric Scandrett. I'm a sophomore mechanical engineering major from Atlanta, Georgia, and I attend the illustrious Howard University in Washington, D.C. So one of my teachers was telling us to do a research project on our careers, and I just so happened to get introduced to biomedical engineering, and I was learning about how biomedical engineers, they played a big hand in like making treatments for like syphilis and all these different types of diseases. And one thing I was very interested in was like learning about all the people who make prosthetics. So I'm considering using my mechanical engineering degree to open my own, like, I guess, office and make prosthetics for everyone.
How do you feel like the qualities that you embody and that really matter to you will translate well into this biomedical field?
Well, the biggest thing I feel like is truly giving back. So right now, medicine and a lot of things in the medical field are very expensive. There's not enough to go around for everyone, and most people don't have enough resources to be able to obtain and afford those expensive medicines and those expensive devices. So my main goal is probably as like I get, qualified and I get the education, the background, and truly get the things I need to become the most like successful and have everything I need. I want to be able to like open these nonprofits and things and like reach out to all these employers and these big companies to like TE, because TE has its own medical field, and be able to just finance all the these medicines and these medical devices, like I said, prosthetics, and be able to just help give to the people who don't have.
So it sounds like maybe affordability and accessibility are kind of big goals for you. Yeah, which is very nice to hear. I know there's a couple initiatives and a couple big names right now trying to do that as well with medicine, because as you said, there's a lot of stuff in the medical field or, just everyday medicines that people need that are not super affordable. So to be able to give people resources and devices and help at a price that is affordable, I think could really make a big impact. Talking about TE a little bit, you found the African Heritage Scholarship Program. How did you first come into contact with that and discover it?
Actually, it's a very interesting story because I was just randomly applying for a whole bunch of scholarships during the fall, and I just so happened to go on scholarships, I think called scholarships.com, not scholarships.com, but it's like Scholars Apply. And I saw TE African Heritage Scholarship, and it was I was reading into it, and it was saying like, oh yeah, you could get an internship as well as a scholarship, and as my first year on campus, at Howard University, I was like, oh, so first of all, I meet the qualifications for this program, as well as I'll already be having an internship my first year, during mechanical engineering. And that to say, I was already classified as a sophomore as my first year at Howard. So I already knew the opportunities that were available for me were going to be more because I offered a little bit more. I came to the school offering a little more. So I just was like, I feel like someone's telling me to take this opportunity. So I applied, and usually when I apply for scholarships and different programs, I tend to think the worst. I'm like, oh, I might not get it, but hey, at least I applied. I put my best foot out there. And I think I applied in maybe it was July, and in early August, they sent me an email saying that, oh, congratulations, you were a recipient of this award, and we want you to do an interview process to confirm whether or not you were going to make it to the next, to actually get the internship. So then I think my internship interview was like sometime in October. It was early in the school year. And that's like usually the time internship interviews are, like they're early in the school year. So I had got my internship interview, and I actually interviewed with my manager who I worked with at Wilsonville, and Tim he kind of was like baiting me in, because he was saying, like, he was telling us about like the medical field, and I was like, oh, you all have the medical field? That's really what I'm interested in. Let me hear a bit more. And like before, I had already knew like who was going to be on my interview panel, so I had kind of like did some research, and I had saw medical, and I was like, oh yeah, let me like give Tim some good questions, and I had gave him good questions. Granted, he had kind of tripped me up with some of the questions too, and like when we was at the site, he would like throw the question around like, oh, Eric, you remember you said this? And I'd be like, it's funny now, but at the time I was really panicking. But
right, you were sweating at the time, but we can laugh about it now.
Yeah, it's funny now. And yeah, the whole African Heritage Scholarship Program it's been very wonderful. Like, I tend to me and the other recipients, we connect with each other on like group me, and we have our office hours where we branch out, we talk to each other. We talk to our advisor Jaron, and Jaron, like, he tends to like make sure we have everything we need. Like, he's like, oh, if something's not going right, let me know at any convenience. So like I tend to like just text Jaron and be like, hey, well, send him a message on Teams like, hey Jaron, how you been? And Jaron, he provides us as many opportunities as we would like. He says, oh, like even with the Maker to Maker episode, he was telling me like, hey Eric, I think you would be a good option for this. So are you interested? And I was telling him like, yo, yes, I would be interested in this. Like, I love podcasts. I like to talk. So I see why not to be interested. It's just like, it kind of builds more of a family. And granted, we're all separated, we still like try to find the way to connect, and I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in a world that has become a little more remote, being connected to other people, I think, can make a really big difference. And it sounds like you've received a lot of good support, both from Jaron and your manager throughout your internship, and maybe even some mentorship to some degree. I guess when like you think about mentorship, what do you think makes a really great mentor?
I feel like a great mentor, and I've had two great mentors at TE. I have a mentor at site. His name is Paul, and the African Heritage Scholarship Program gave us a mentor also, and her name's Kisa. And both of them, I feel like the most important thing is communication. Whether it's a simple 5-minute conversation, whether it's an hour conversation, just a simple check-in, I feel like that's important, because, you know, you're going through your day, you're going through your week, and it's a lot going on. You have so many projects, and it's just, sometimes it's not unbearable, but sometimes you don't really know how someone's thinking. So I feel like just a simple, hey, how are you doing? We haven't connected in a minute. How have you been? How's everything coming? I feel like that's an important thing to have with a mentor. And that's what I've received at TE. So that would probably be the most important.
I think that's a really good point about just like, you know, the taking the time to do the little things, because life is crazy. There's always so much going on. And I feel like one of the easy things to do is kind of forget about like those little acts because you're so caught up in everything else. But those little things can really make a big impact and can maybe completely change someone's day. You know, maybe they were having a bad day, or you never know what's going on in someone else's life. That's why, you know, empathy is so important. So those little check-ins, you know, maybe getting, you know, I've had that happen for me. Like, someone has made my day and they don't even realize it, just because their name popped up on Skype or on Teams in, you know, the bottom right-hand corner of my computer. And it can just completely, you know, turn a day around. So I think that's nice that you recognize that, and, you know, you have been doing that and people have been doing that for you. Looking kind of at technological innovation and the future, there's a couple particularly interesting fields, but starting with medical, is there a technological innovation you would like to see in the medical industry that you think would maybe be like a game changer?
I was looking into like, they were talking about using AR powered contact lenses, and like that would be very, very cool. I feel like if that would be in full effect, it probably would be a game changer, especially requiring the use of, we wouldn't need to use phones and things like that. Maybe computers still, but it'll be a big technological advancement.
That would be huge. And the contact lens thing I think is really funny, because I read a book series that was like a futuristic type book series, and that was one of the things in the book, and they had contact lenses kind of like you were describing, where you could just like be scrolling through news feeds, or you get news updates, or you also get like your oxygen levels and your hydration levels and like all that kind of stuff. And when I was reading it, I was like, that doesn't seem that far off. Like, that does seem like a super technological advancement, but I feel like I've seen even articles like recently that they are starting to like look at stuff with contact lenses. So I think that's a little scary to a degree, because then you have all the technology kind of like almost in your body. Like if it's on your eye, all of a sudden we're going from, a phone, which is quite technological, right? A lot of technology you can hold in your hand, but now it's like we're getting closer and closer to it being actually like embedded in your body. Like now it'll be your eye, and then next thing you know, it'll be just like in your bloodstream or like in your brain, or we'll be strapping on virtual reality headsets and living in a world like Ready Player One. So virtual reality and AR and VR are going to become, part of our reality. You've talked a little bit about making an impact on the medical industry, right? And really wanting to help improve people's lives, which I think is a very admirable kind of goal and mission of yours. Where do you see medical engineering going in the future? And hopefully you'll be contributing to that. So what path do you see it going down, and where do you think it's headed?
Well, right now, I feel like medicine is taking a route it's taking more of an automation route. And I say automation as in like self-diagnostics. Like medicine is going to take the route of like easy access. If you want to get tested, you could do it yourself. It's something that it's still going to require like make sure everything's under the right conditions and things like that. But I feel like we're moving into the age where like things can be done autonomously. Like you don't really need a doctor or things like that to, truly get the best remedy.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true, and maybe that speaks to our like human desire for efficiency. Like I do think things are becoming a little more autonomous, and right now there's robots that perform surgeries. At one point that was probably considered a completely wild concept and wild idea now, and now that is happening. So hopefully it keeps going down a path that, like, your ultimate goal of making things more accessible, more affordable. Hopefully those technological innovations help contribute to that.
Yes, most definitely. I was really just thinking too, like, I feel like eventually the tests, even like, because I don't like CAT scans. Granted, they give you the results and things like that, but I feel like even having machines to like just say, oh, this is literally what everything means, and it just prints out this long paper, and it's like, oh, all you're doing, and all the operator or the doctor is doing is literally pressing a button, telling it to go. Like that's still more, that's literally what I meant when I said like autonomy. That need for like it's not more of human error, but just make sure programming for the computers and things like that. So that'll probably be our impact in like the engineering impact on the medical field, is making sure we can get that program and those machines to be operating at their best levels.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Brooke. I had an amazing time on Makers to Makers.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. To our listeners, please come back next time by subscribing to the show on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, think big, move fast, and make every connection count.